Coming up on this week's show, Redfall confirms full crossplay for the game across PC and Xbox. Cities Skylines 2 releases this year with an aim to be the ultimate city building simulator. Sara takes us through episode 8 of HBO's The Last of Us, and Powerwash Simulator continues its trend of inspired collaborations by letting you clean up Midgar. Hello friends and welcome to the Weekend Catch-Up Club podcast, the coffee morning show brought to you each week where friends hang out and chat about some of the latest stories going on in the industry. You can follow the show on all your favourite platforms or watch the video version over on youtube.com/gamertagged. This is episode 98, and joining me for all the bants today is none other than the voice from beyond. You've heard her in titles like Rollerdrome and Goat Simulator 3. It's the ethereal, the spooky, the immensely talented, and the BAFTA-nominated Sara Lynham.
Yes! Oh, I wasn't sure if you were going to add it in yet. And I'm like, yeah, okay, this is permanently in. It's permanently in. I can't wait to see what the result is. Obviously, that my life doesn't hang on every moment of the BAFTAs, but at the moment, it feels like it kind of does.
When is the ceremony, actually?
It is in April, late April. I can't remember specifically when.
Oh, okay.
I feel like it's the 28th or something like that. But yeah, it's in April. So I'll be keeping my little beady eyes out for what happens.
I'm so excited. We covered this obviously last week's show. We were geeking out about the praise and everything like that, and how it was all you. Like the nominations were all your contribution. That's what elevated the project to that other level to be BAFTA nominated. Yeah. Otherwise they wouldn't have been even had a look in. You know, they were like, oh wait, what is this game? Oh, I don't know what it is. Wait a minute. Sara Lynham. The Sara Lynham isn't... Okay, look. I don't even care what she's done in it. Just put it in the BAFTA noms. Just put it in. That's it. That's the way it works, man. That's it. Anyway.
My reputation.
I'm still waiting for Xanadu the game. Sara, come on. Your clout in the industry now should be able to just get projects greenlit like this.
I should. Why has the universe not made this happen for me yet? Oh wait, I probably should do some proactive something rather to make it happen. I can't just be like, right, I'm sat here in my booth. I am ready for when the opportunities come.
Come to me, people. Come on, universe, come to me. I'm ready.
Exactly.
Oh gosh, we have such a great show lined up. We are going to be talking about Powerwash Simulator. It has the most unlikeliest of collaborations, which just sounds completely awesome. And we're going to do a little bit of a expanded feature segment of that to think about what other crossovers would the Powerwash Simulator genre, subgenre be a fun kind of collaboration crossover for it. There's a little bit of news about Cities Skyline 2 got announced. Sara, you're going to be telling us all about the penultimate episode of The Last of Us, which was it episode 8, I think it was? So there's only one more to go. I can't believe that. And got a little bit of news about Redfall, which is still hotly anticipated and coming out, I believe it's May. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that because we're really, really looking forward to that game from Arcane Studios. That team just puts out constant bangers of games. They rarely, if ever, miss, and it just looks so good. So let's talk a little bit about, let's kick it off with Redfall. Crossplay has been confirmed for, I love this part, all platforms, of which there are only 2. But hey, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, folks. It doesn't matter. All the platforms, Xbox and PC. But that's fine. That's okay. But the good news is, or the great news is, clearly, whenever you're playing it on PC, whether you're buying it on Steam, whether you're buying it on the Epic Games Store, or you're playing on PC Game Pass, or you're playing it on, like myself, on Xbox, we can all join up and play together. There's no segregation, there's no alienation, there's just playing together, and it's the best feeling in the world, isn't it, Sara?
Oh, it absolutely is. I'm just I don't see why devs are so opposed to finding a way to make this happen on all of any sort of like multiplayer game, especially FPS games like this. Like that's the whole thing for me, is playing with other people that I know, especially. I'm fine with playing online with randoms from time to time, but like my preference is always people that I know. And we all know that not everybody has a big PC rig for gaming, or not everybody has an Xbox. So as long as they have one of those things, they should be able to play with their friends. And thank you. Oh my God, thank you, Arcane Studios, for making sure this is happening for Redfall, because Redfall looks so good. Like, let's go kill all the vampires. I'm so keen.
Because the gameplay just looks so good. We've gushed about how this is the Buffy the Vampire Slayer game that we've always kind of dreamed of having and wanting. So it's like the ragtag group of hunters that are cleansing the village, I guess, or the town of Redfall. And the hype for this is huge, but also it feels like it's not, like the platform isn't hinging on, like Xbox isn't hinging on Redfall. It feels like there's a good amount of pressure, but it's not a make or break sort of title where, like for example, Starfield, like that has to be amazing because it's Bethesda and it's Xbox and they've been touting it for years. That has expectation sky high, whereas the expectation for Redfall is high, but it feels like there's slightly less pressure on it being genre defining, amazing, 10 out of 10 kind of thing. As long as it's great, as long as it is fun to play, it's going to be just a hugely successful game. And that's what I'm hoping for, and that's what I'm kind of thankful for as well, that like not every game needs to be a genre defining, platform defining experience, and it's okay for games to be the 7 or 8s. I'm still hoping this is going to be like 9s, maybe even 10s as well, depending on your preference and who's obviously reviewing and how well it clicks and everything like that. But it's okay to have just an amazing flurry of 7 and 8 type of games, because they're usually fantastic and sleeper hits as well.
Yeah, exactly. I like the idea of it not having the pressure, because like it must be really stressful for any team that's involved with creating the next best AAA game that everyone's been anticipating for months and months and months, sometimes even years. Whereas like with this one, I just feel like I saw the trailer and I'm like, that's cool, I'm definitely going to play it. And I didn't sort of I didn't get all aboard the hype train. I didn't do what we always do and go like, oh my God, I can't wait for this to come out. Everything's got to stop in my life and I'm going to play this game. Like, I didn't get to that level with this, but still I'm anticipating it for sure. And I don't even know if I could put my finger on it in terms of why that vibe is the vibe. But I wonder if it's just because it's not necessarily what would be classified as the front runner for Xbox, for example, or the front runner for the next PC game. Like, we've got other things that are on the horizon that have been promised to be a bigger deal. So I think it's just nice for it to kind of be like, yeah, and we're coming as well. Yeah. Like a kind of really cool best friend that's also coming along to the party that is going to show up and actually be the best person to hang out with the whole night, as opposed to the super popular annoying person who were like, oh, well, obviously they're going to be here and they have to be amazing.
I
don't know if that analogy checks out. It's a little dodgy, but it might work.
You're speaking from experience, Sarah. Which one of those personas are yourself? Clearly.
I think we all know I can be a little bit of both.
I think we all can. We all want attention, but then there's times we just want to kind of blend and be the cool person who's just like lurking on the periphery of the area, of the club or the the room and things like that. Yeah, but I think you're right. Like this isn't it's not a legacy title. It's not a mascot title or anything like that. It's not like the expectation of Kratos coming back in a new reboot for that series, which became a kind of defining pillar game for the new era of Sony. This has it has banger written all over it, but without that sky high expectation. And I think because multiplayer, because it's co-op as well, because it's just like that schlocky B movie vampire hunting, werewolf hunting kind of type of game. And you got like the supernatural powers with creating and crafting your weapons and things. It's just got awesome written all over it, and without that back-breaking level of expectation, which can really crush a project because it's just too much expectation. So hugely excited for this. I can't wait.
Yeah, same. Do we have a launch date? Do you say May?
It says 2nd of May 2023. It comes to
Ooh.
Xbox Series consoles and PC. Clearly, there's no backward compatible version in the works, which is good because I've seen, and this is a little bit of a side topic, is the Harry Potter game, Hogwarts Legacy, has had to delay its last generation versions again. It's already came out on the current gen consoles, which is obviously fantastic, and it's been hugely well received. I've been playing it. I really, really love it. Again, really well polished, and I just think, to what degree are they going to have to rein everything back here to get this working on PlayStation 4 and the Xbox
Mm.
One consoles? So it's really good that developers can now say, you know what, no, we just can't deliver a good experience which holds to our vision, and there's going to be a good experience for you, the players, to play our game. It's just going to be maybe super reined in, super scaled back, maybe even like just very, very bad performance. We just can't do it, kind of thing. And I like
Mm.
that more and more games are saying, you know what, we have to cut the cord. We just have to. We got to move on. As time as we're now into the third year, or coming up in the third year of these current gen hardware launches, and it's time to say goodbye, sort of thing, because we can't keep building games for 10-year-old hardware. Unfortunately, it's just not possible, Sarah. It's just not possible.
I know. It's such a shame though, because like, the price point for new, well, I say new, can you still sort of call them new? Current gen, I guess, is the right terminology. Current gen
Yeah,
consoles, it's still quite high. Like,
yeah, it is.
and especially with PS5, I don't have an Xbox, so I don't know how difficult it was to get your hands on one. But to get my hands on a PS5, I had to join all these like slightly dodgy Discord groups of randos who were like telling me when they were available, and I was scouring these bizarre Twitter accounts as well. Eventually, I managed to get my hands on one, but like it was a whole ordeal. Like, and I think it's a shame to be locking off older consoles because but I totally understand why, because like you say, you can't you don't want to have to dial down your vision in terms of what the devs have put together. And it also, I guess, in a way, by not having to worry about stuff like that, they don't have to essentially build an entirely different game that works on both. They can just go, oh well, we know what Xbox Series X and PS5 are capable, and also they don't really have to worry about PCs because PCs just are insane.
Yeah.
But like they just go, okay, we know what these are capable of, so let's ramp things up because we can. If we've already decided we're not going to do the previous generation of consoles, then I betcha they're able to do a lot more, which it benefits me. It may not benefit other people. That's the part that's the shame. But also, yeah, I guess the thing is, at some point, you can't just keep. We're not still making PS3 games, are we? So. It's got to be a point where it stops.
I have seen some developers still putting out Sega Mega Drive games. just recently, yeah, they still
That's
made
mad.
a game on a cartridge, and it still works on actual hardware, which is kind of cool, really retro cool.
That's super retro cool. That's retro cool. PS3 isn't quite retro cool though. I would have to say it has to be a little bit further back to be retro cool. PS3 feels like, oh, did you just not want to? You just didn't want to use the new like capacity that we have. Okay, fine.
I know. It's the question. What is, at what point does something become retro? Because technically the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 are now retro. They're 3 generations old, so that should be retro. That should be retro.
I'm gonna say no just because I don't want to feel that old. No, I deny you, Ross. I deny you.
I think like 15 years does not classify as retro, whereas 20 years does. Like 20 years plus should be the kind of the cutoff mark. So like the original PS2 and Xbox One, that's from 2001, so that's retro because that's over 20 years. But
yeah, I'll allow it.
2010, come on, I'm still thinking like it's the year 2000, not like 2010 is 15 years ago, 13 years
20
ago.
years ago is the 80s, right? Right?
Exactly. That's what we're still thinking like. Gosh. Oh my goodness. So great news for obviously for Redfall, for players who are looking
Mm,
forward to that. We are going to be definitely doing some co-op streams of that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't
yes.
wait for it to launch. But it may seem such a long time away, but not too
Mm,
long, not too long. There's plenty to come between now and May. So, moving on to our next topic. A little bit of a quick one, but I wanted to throw it out there anyway. City Skyline has been announced, or City Skyline 2, I should say, has been announced, and it is going to be releasing this year. This information comes via Game Informer. City Skyline 2 was announced today at Paradox announcement show, and it's coming later this year. This follow-up builds upon its 2015 predecessor with new features such as fully realized transportation and economy systems. Paradox didn't reveal too many other specifics beyond stating in a press release that the game features a wealth of construction and customization options and advanced modding capabilities. It comes to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series consoles, including Game Pass and PC, and there's a little teaser trailer on the website as well. This is really, really cool because I used to absolutely love the like RTS style of games, and I love the fact that this is going to be, or pitching itself as, the ultimate city builder, complete with working economy, realistic transportation systems, infrastructure, all that kind of stuff. So you can make the ultimate city. So it's pretty cool. There's something unbelievably niche but hardcore appealing about just getting into the weeds of, is my sanitation working as it needs to? Is there a schedule for like a tram service or a rail service or public transportation systems and all this kind of stuff? It's like, man, you could be super geeky about all of this stuff, and I'm definitely going to be checking it. I haven't played the first one, but I think I'm going to wait and get this one on Game Pass and check it out, because there's another game which I utterly adore, and the only thing that I would say that maybe pips that game over City Skyline is the fact that dinosaurs can eat the visitors. And that is, of course, Jurassic World Evolution, where it's a park builder. That's the only real maybe trump card over that.
Oh my goodness. I mean, obviously Jurassic Park, amazing. Want to play that. I used to sink so much time into things like Sim City, Sim Farm. I think at one point I've played loads of like sort of like the adventure park builders and theme hospital and all that sort of thing. I just love it. It's just really fun, and this looks beautiful as well. Like the trailer looks insane. And I'm the same as you. I've not played the first one, but what I really love about these kind of games is like, yeah, the economy side of it. So that's what I loved about Tropico, if you've played it. So that's really cool. You essentially have a lot of kind of political stuff to manage, as well as the economics of the city and the town that you're building. And I really geek out on stuff like that. And I will sit there for over half a day just being like, oh, look, I made a new building. Oh, this one's even higher. Oh, look at the little people going to work. This is really cool.
I wonder if they're going to do any kind of features in City Skyline 2, like an underground, like black market economy as well. You know, where there's like contraband stuff, they're smuggling, there's a whole smuggling operation, you know, all this. Maybe that's too dark. Maybe leave that to the modding community to implement something like that. Especially if there's a dock, and they're like any kind of dock where there's cargo ships coming in. Come on, that's rife for contraband and and dodgy goods.
The mobs down at the they've got like a warehouse down at the dock. They're like, don't go down there after nightfall.
Okay, I mean, potential, absolute potential. I really like this idea.
I like the idea of opening it up to the mod community. I think some of the stuff that people mod is absolutely incredible. Some of it is very silly, but I think that would be really cool if someone was able to create an intricate, like sub-economic, black market. That'd be amazing. That'd be super cool. As long as they're not sort of.
It says there's a wealth of customization options and advanced modding capabilities, so they're going to go wild with this game. I think.
Oh my god! All right, we're reaching out to the mod community now. We would like a mob, an underground kidney selling style black market, please. That's what we want.
You've went super dark. I was thinking I'm just going to make a Super Mario World with rainbow roads as this. and little Koopa Troopas as the traffic wardens and stuff like that. But you've just went black market organ smuggling. Wow.
Organ smuggling, drug ring. Yeah. It's gonna be dark. It's gonna be like this beautiful, lovely, sunny town on the top, and then it's gonna be like a proper like underground scummy. Yeah.
Gosh, absolutely amazing. So City Skyline, I don't think there's a release date just yet. They've only announced that it is coming this year, but the original game was a big success, having sold over 12 million copies and filling the simulation gap left by SimCity's hiatus, because SimCity was the daddy originally.
Mm-hmm.
So developer Colossal Order has supported it with multiple updates and expansions, including a VR port and a recent current gen remaster. It's pretty cool. So maybe if the remaster is available on the cheap, I might check it out just to have a little dabble to see. Oh, this is what we can expect, and then all the new features can absolutely blow me away. But I wonder how wild it can get. Could you build a city which has that Inception thing where it's folded up over itself and it's like upside down? The skyscrapers are all inverted and stuff. Could you go absolutely nuts, or is it grounded in a bit more? Like, shut up. This is a realistic simulator. You can't do that, you mad bastard. Stop being ridiculous.
Don't forget about gravity. You can't forget gravity.
I want my roads to be like a Hot Wheels track where it's all corkscrews and shit. Come on.
Again, modding community, we're reaching out. This is what we want. We want you to disregard all scientific evidence that gravity exists and let us do whatever we like.
Absolutely. But yeah, one to check out and look forward to, because I think it's going to be a little bit of a banger for the nerdiness of just simulated cities, which is really, really cool. Anyway, Sarah, next topic is all you, my girl. The Last of Us Episode 8 set a new viewership record for the series. The penultimate episode of The Last of Us adaptation drew in 8.1 million viewers ahead of the finale. I'm going to just kick it over to you, because I know which episode this was. It was a very significant dark moment from the video game, and now they put this to live action. So take it away, Sarah.
I mean, I've gushed a lot about this show already. It is truly phenomenal what they've been able to do. I think the fact that they've been able to make the changes that they have while still being so undyingly faithful to the game that you feel like those changes are almost enhancements on the story, or alt universe version of the story. Like it's a feeling of whoever is. I know that Neil Druckmann's involved, but those who are writing it have a love for the game that is so, so obvious. And it is beautiful to see the world being represented exactly how it should be, as if a couple of things were slightly different. And I think anybody getting annoyed about that can go get in the sea, because I don't want you here. I think it's been incredible. And I think that I'm actually really sad that we're nearly on the last episode. I can't believe it's come around so quickly. But what I'm excited for is those people, and I know there are so many of them, that have waited and are just going to binge watch all of them. Ross, I'm looking at you.
That's me.
But yeah, it's a stunning game. So I'm not surprised that they were able to build on that and make it so incredible. And there are just some insanely good performances in this episode as well. I don't want to say too much if people haven't seen it, but obviously if you've played the game, you know that this is when they encounter some survivors who have a certain taste for a certain type of meat, and maybe some of them don't know that that's what they're eating.
Tiny pieces.
Tiny pieces. That Troy Baker is in this episode, which is really cool.
Yeah. So tell me about, how was his performance good? Was it a really interesting character he got to play? Tell me.
Yeah. So his performance was insanely good. It was one of those moments where I didn't initially recognize him, and Connor sort of nudged me and goes, "That's Troy Baker." And I was like, "Oh shit!" So it is, yeah. But I feel like I get so immersed when I'm watching it that I kind of didn't even clock the fact that it was Troy Baker. And then when it was, I was like, okay, yeah, this is cool. it's really interesting that they chose the episode, or the moment rather, in the game where you play as Ellie. So there actually isn't that much Joel in it. So it was really nice for Troy Baker to kind of have that and maybe not necessarily be compared too much to Pedro Pascal. So I think that
Yeah.
might have been, I don't know if that was a conscious choice, but it felt like a clever choice if it was.
It might be the Spider-Man meme where they're both pointing at each other. Like, you're Joe.
Yeah.
You're Joe. You're Joe.
Someone's going to make that somewhere. And if it doesn't exist, why not?
Exactly.
But I do think Bella Ramsey in it was incredible as well. I think they finally had the opportunity to take the lead in the same way that you do in the game. You get to actually be Ellie in this moment. And there's a kind of like a gasp, oh, I get to play Ellie now. And you feel that as well. They take over the episode in this moment. Ellie becomes the main character, as in Joel is like, he's injured, massively injured.
Yeah.
Ellie needs to do something in order to help him. And so off she goes, out into the middle of nowhere, not knowing what to expect. All she's trying to do is just try and find some food and hopefully some medicine somewhere. And then she encounters these seemingly nice people who are not very nice in the end.
So my question about this episode that I think could be really well done, but I haven't seen it, so I'm relying on you to convince me or to tell me all about it. So in this chapter in the game, you play as Ellie because Joel is severely injured, but throughout the game, Joel is like a protector for Ellie, right? And we're playing as Joel, or in the show we're really kind of following Joel.
Mm-hmm.
So Ellie isn't really in much distress or harm's way necessarily because we know Joel's there. In the game, when we take over Ellie, we still don't really fear for her safety because the player is controlling Ellie, so we're kind of the protector of Ellie there. But in a TV context, we're very much detached from any kind of control, where we're passively watching Ellie in these situations. Have they managed to make the viewer really fear for Ellie's safety in this? Well, I know the encounter because I've played the game, but for anybody who hasn't, I don't want to spoil it. But during these set pieces, encounters, and everything, and these characters are introduced, have the showrunners managed to make the viewer genuinely fear for Ellie's safety? Because you never really get that in the game. And when Joel's there, you don't really fear for Ellie's safety because Joel's there. He's like fucking Uber daddy, like protecting her. So was that an opportunity for the developers to actually genuinely make the viewers fear for Ellie?
That's a really good question. And interesting that you ask that, because I would say that, like, peppered throughout the season so far, I think we've really been presented with a very strong Ellie. And you see moments of her feeling vulnerable and her feeling uncomfortable, but we never see, I don't think we ever fear for her until there are some very specific moments in this episode where you do. And I would say you fear for her on she might get hurt or get killed, but like there's a kind of emotional damage that you can see being developed through the performance of Bella Ramsey, and that is the thing that I am most impressed by. Like it's really subtle, and it's been something that if it hadn't been for the build up and the way that she's presented the character up until this point, I don't think we would have been able to achieve this amazing kind of there are two very specific moments. I don't want to spoil it, but one of them is while she's in a cage, and the second one is there's a lot of fire going on. But actually, I would say that the fire is not the thing that we're most afraid of in that moment. Oh my God, I can't wait for you to watch them. I want you to give me a play-by-play when you're watching them all.
I know.
Like, this just happened.
Because Ellie is such an accomplished, capable character in the games, and I'm guessing throughout the entirety of the show up until that point, that you forget that she is a child.
Yeah.
Again, you really do forget that she is a child, and I'm thinking like in this episode, that's the moment where everything kind of comes crashing down. It's like, oh yeah, she is just a child, and she's in like severe danger here of the character of David and how manipulative he is as a character, and that psychological damage rather than necessarily the physical danger. So it feels like it could have been a really strong like psychological horror style of episode, and no wonder it got all the viewers, because that moment in the game is a major shift in terms of its storytelling power.
Mm.
So I'm really excited to just binge the whole lot and watch it all, and yeah, just see what the actors all did. And then it leads us on to the finale, which is very, very soon, which I can't believe. So I hope that as soon as the finale is done and aired, I believe it's on like Sunday night, it
Mhm.
usually comes out. Like Monday morning, it's there. Like you can go buy it. I'm happy to buy the box set. I don't have to wait for a free streaming one. I just give me the whole collection. I'll buy it digitally. I don't care. But then Monday, it's just like, okay, let's go. Let's just watch the whole thing in a day, and then just be traumatized and like shaking in a corner because it's too intense for one massive marathon sitting.
Oh yeah, I'd be very impressed if someone could get through it. I mean, well, you'd be able to physically get through it, as in sit there and watch it, but my goodness, your heart will break so many times. It
I
is,
know.
yeah, there's some beautiful performances in it, and some of the best TV I've seen in a long time. So you're in for a
Wow.
treat.
I
I'm so
know. I
excited for
know.
you.
It sets a very high bar for season 2 as well.
Ooh, it
So
does.
gosh,
Mm.
yeah, I can't wait. I really can't wait. So that is that's going to be done and dusted by next week. I can't believe that not that
Mm.
long ago we were talking about the hype and the build up to the show and what to expect from it, and hoping
Mm.
that it would be really, really good. And now we're talking about the finale and all being done, and then looking forward to the second season. Time flies, Sarah. It's
Oh,
crazy.
I
It is
know.
crazy.
I
It is
know.
crazy. What is it? What is the old Hollywood saying? Time flies like an arrow, but comedy flies like a banana.
I've never heard that.
You never
It
heard
sounds like you
that?
made it up.
I did not. I did not make it up. I swear that's a proper comedy writers room saying. There you
That's brilliant. That's
go.
brilliant. I
I
thought
think
you were
it's
just
because
going to
they
say
get
time flies when you're having fun. I'm like, yes, yes, I've heard that. But
no
no,
time.
no.
Time flies like an arrow, but comedy flies like a banana. There you
That's so random. I love it.
So our next topic, I'm getting my timestamps together here. So Powerwash Simulator. You can now clean Final Fantasy VII's Midgar in Powerwash Simulator. Of all the random crossover collaborations, this is wild. So the overlap of Powerwash Simulator fans and Final Fantasy diehards hits in full force today. Thanks to the launch of a free DLC pack for the popular sim, you can use your high-pressure hose to blast dirt and grime off of popular locations in Midgar, and the best part is the experience is totally free. The Midgar Special Pack is now available for all versions of Power Wash Simulator. It adds 5 new levels, including Tifa's 7th Heaven Bar, the Mako Energy Exhibit. Additionally, you'll be cleaning up vehicles such as mechs, such as Cloud's Hardy Daytona motorcycle, Shinra Hauler, the Scorpion Sentinel, and the Airbuster. The pack also adds new dirt types such as bio residue. This is amazing! This is just amazing. What the heck?
Oh my goodness. I love this so much. I didn't even know about Power Wash. So this has brought this onto my radar as a big Final Fantasy fan anyway. So I was just like, wait, what? And I'm gonna this is gonna be a bit of a weird admission here, but one of my favorite like weird things to do that I find strangely satisfying is watching people clean things. Like there's a channel on TikTok that I watch all the time where they're power washing carpets, and the
Yes.
carpets like it's so satisfying, right? And the carpets start off as like these dingy, gross kind of things, and then they just power wash them until they look like they're brand new. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that is so cool. So now there's a game where I can do that. Oh my god! How did I not know about this?
Without the
Oh,
hard labor as well. It's the best of both. It's one of those things where it's a real life chore, but you'd
mm.
never do it in real life, but put it in a gamification context, like the Lawnmower Simulator and Power
Yeah.
Wash Simulator. It's so addictive and almost therapeutic, because in Lawnmower Simulator, it's all about getting the lines on the grass, like
Mm.
going back and forth on your lawn and getting the pattern going, and that satisfaction. And then in this, it's just like it's like power blasting the dirt off of something to reveal this clean sheen newness underneath it, and it's just so addictive. I can't believe that. Which got me thinking. So, if you are owners, before we get to that, if you are owners of Powerwash Simulator, it's obviously free. It's available immediately, so go check it out. It's on all platforms: PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC. I think this could be a really good Switch game. Actually, I might check it out, see if it's on Switch, because just sitting down on the sofa with your handheld and cleaning stuff sounds like a really good time.
Right?
Yeah. But it got me thinking, this topic got me thinking about what other games would be really fun to have a Powerwash Simulator collaboration / crossover. And to kick us off, I was thinking how fun it would be to have like a cleanup crew style of game where it's like after the Doomslayer has gone through a level in an arena of killing all of the demons and insta-gibbing everything and splattering everything, you're this poor, like, browbeaten, jaded cleanup crew supervisor, and you got to just clean all the corridors and the halls and everything like that. Because that fucking Doomslayer has gone and just rampaged through without any care about the poor cleanup crew that has to get the halls back to spick and span and looking nice and shiny again. And that's their job. That's what they have to do.
I love that. I love that. That's perfect. I think the thing for me with any of these kind of like power wash style simulations, like the thing that really got me was like being able to clean like buildings or vehicles. Like that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
And then I got to thinking, what if you got to power wash the USG Ishimura?
Oh,
in Dead Space.
Oh my god!
You got to walk around and just, and then by the end of it, it's just like sparkling and clean. I don't think it would change anything. You'd still have so many horrible things that you'd have to kill in there, but it would be beautiful and shiny. It would be so nice. Oh, the other thing I thought of was literally any swamp level in a Soulsborne. I'm talking poison swamp in Bloodborne. You go through with your power wash and you're like, great, now I could just walk through and I don't have to worry about the swamp. Oh, it would be such a wonderful mod. I'd be so on board with that. The swamp levels always get me. I'm like, I want to get that item over there, but there's so much poisonous swamp. Don't worry, power wash man is here.
That'd be so good, yeah. Oh my god. It's I think Splatoon would be quite good for that as well, because that's all about like painting the levels, but what about cleaning the levels instead as well? It's like, okay, your little fun sport session is done now, but there's fucking paint everywhere. Who's gonna clean that up? Okay? Grab your power washer and get cleaning.
I love that all of yours are like this kind of grumpy old like team that they're the same. It feels like they're the same team that are coming into every one of these dirty games and just going, here we go again, boys. Look at all the mess that these players have left. Oh well, better get to work.
Maybe maybe there's like a meta game where you get a bonus for doing it like extra, like really efficiently under budget, under time or something like that, and you get a little XP buff or something, or a currency buff or something for being you got an Uber rating, like the Uber cleaners.
Absolutely. Yeah. Get my 5-star rating. I got to keep that going.
There's a game, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's a brilliant little game, both aesthetically and the music in it. It's like I think it's set in like the 70s. So it's got that 70s kind of like Dukes of Hazzard kind of vibe to it. Not Dukes of Hazzard, Starsky and Hutch, I should say. Especially with like the funk music and everything like that as well. And it's called Serial Cleaners. Okay, and it's a little top-down thing. And you are the cleanup crew for like a massacre or a gang hit or a mob hit or something like that. And you have to go in, get the place all like an office floor setting, get it all cleaned up, back to spick and span before the cops turn up. Or if the cops are already there, you have to like hide the bodies, clean everything up before they come around on their patrol and spot you, kind of thing. And you got to avoid the roaming police officers and things like that. It's really good.
That's so cool.
And that's what made me think of a crossover with Powerwash Simulator, because it's kind of like that. But rather than a top-down little indie game, what about like a big budget AAA like Powerwash Simulator crossover cleaning crew type of thing, which could be really fun.
Oh, that sounds great. What's the name of that cleanup game you're talking about?
Serial Cleaners.
That's a good name as well.
Yeah, it's really fun. But and
Mm.
the soundtrack for it is just so cool because it's that kind of 70s funk style to it. It's really good and definitely worth checking out. I mean it's quite old now, but I think it's on everything at the time. So I
Mm.
highly recommend that just for something that's just so fun and a little bit different. It's like, yeah, because it's something you don't think about. It's like, who cleans up all the bodies? Who's the cleaning crew? And it wasn't actually until, and this was like years later, that John Wick came out,
Mm.
and the cleaning crew turn up at his house to say, "You working again, John?" And then he gives them the stack of gold coins to say like dinner for five sort of thing is what he phones up to say, right? It's like, oh,
Yeah.
he's got five dead bodies, and the cleaning crew
Ooh.
turn up, and then they put the place back together again, and he pays it in the gold coins. It's like that they did it. They made like a movie reference to the cleanup crew, which is
Yeah.
what Serial Cleaners was like a few years before. And I love that. I love it when there's an action movie or a game or anything like that that has this expanded universe that feels believable, but it's the mundane minutia of the universe to say, well, who's manning the telephones, who's the cleanup crew, who's the sanitation, and all this kind of stuff, like who's the office worker that has to empty the bins at the end of the day for all of these contracts, these hits that are going out, all of this, rather than the person who's doing the shooting, who's doing the cleanup. And I love that.
Yeah, the world isn't just the world of the player. The world is everything around it, because otherwise, yeah, like you say, you'd get caught out if your hits weren't tidied up, or if someone wasn't organizing your taxi to get to your next place or whatever. Like, yeah, think about the admin crew. Come on,
Exactly,
guys.
exactly. And it actually also made me think a lot about the strength of Bioshock. This is a super kind of tangent here because you wouldn't think any of these are connected. But the strength of the writing in Bioshock is that Fontaine is the underground gangster mob boss who was like running the show, running the infrastructure of um, Rapture, whereas oh god, who was the main? I forgot. Why my name is my brain is gone. I've forgotten the lead kind of creator of Rapture, the character. Anyway, who said?
I can't remember.
God, that's going to annoy me now. I'm going to have to quickly search for it. But anyway, like he was running Rapture. It was his idea and his um like mantra to like a man not earn the sweat from his brow and all this kind of stuff. But it was actually Fontaine who was running the show, like the people that you don't think about, like the service workers. They're actually running stuff like the plumbers, the electricians, the the dock workers. They're the ones that actually run a city, and it's like that kind of mentality. But I'm gonna Google Bioshock characters now. Hold on.
Does it start with
Bioshock.
A? Maybe.
Oh God, I honestly I can't remember. This is terrible. My brain, whenever we go to record, it's like, oh my God. Andrew Ryan. There we
Oh, I
go.
was right about the A.
You were right
And
about the A. God, I mean, it's so obvious. Don't you just hate that? It's like it's so obvious gaming knowledge that we do know, and then
yeah.
when it comes to when you get put on the spot, you're like, oh, I'm going to sound like such an idiot here because I can't remember that person. No, that person, and what's that person? I can't remember that name. Anyway,
And also, this always happens. You'll say that, and I'll be like, I can't remember either. Like, I'm never able to help. I'm always like, oh no, same
I know,
brain
I
hole
know.
is
I throw
happening.
you the ball to save me, and you drop it, Sarah.
And I was like, I can give
Jesus.
you a single letter. Go.
A begins
A.
with A, and it's the first letter of the alphabet, so you weren't even really trying at all there. It begins with A.
Could have just been a shot in the dark.
Anyway, but yeah, Powerwash Simulator just looks like a ton of fun, and there's lots of exciting crossovers. I didn't even realize it says here that there was already a Tomb Raider themed expansion that came out in January, so that sounds really quite cool as well.
Yeah.
I wonder what that is. Is that like cleaning the tombs, like the different
Cleaning the filthy minds of the
cleaning the
players.
mines and stuff like that? Yeah, yeah, yes. Oh dear. It's not car wash simulator, Sarah. Get your mind out of the gutter.
No, they just put a power wash jet right next to the ear of the player who's having the dirty thoughts, and then it just power washes the brain.
I like that.
That would
Quite right.
probably kill a person, I think, but
It probably would. It'd be
maybe
like that.
it would.
It'd be like that Oculus headset that will kill a player that was made by.
What?
Yeah, it's like was it Palmer Luckey or whatever the fuck his name is, who was the inventor or one of the creators of Oculus, um, created a VR headset that will like fire rods into your head and actually kill you when you die in the game. I don't know why.
Oh, why?
Yeah,
No,
it was
don't
like
do
it was
that.
highly publicized. That it's like, why? Why have you made this? It's like like for where when you're playing Dark Souls or something like that. It's like, yeah,
That's
you died
no. Oh,
literally.
oh,
Yeah,
well, that's it. That's such a shame.
I
Like,
know.
well, I mean, it's clever, but I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to use it.
No, maybe just a little water pistol attachment on my controller would be quite better. Maybe,
Like almost
So,
like a cat deterrent style water splasher. Just go, no, you're doing it wrong.
yeah, spritz, 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 spritz. Yes, that.
Yeah, I'd rather have that than rods that go directly into my head and actually kill me. Yeah,
I think so. I think
yeah,
so. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
it's a tough choice. Let's be honest, but I
It
mean,
is. It
probably
is.
not. Yeah,
You know.
yeah. But this is actually going to open up to a slightly segment I wasn't going to talk about, but let's do it anyway. I was going to throw in the Resident Evil 4 demo because talking of crossovers with Powerwash Simulator, like Resident Evil games are kind of tailor made for a cleanup crew and things like that as well. And then I thought, well, the Resident Evil 4 demo just dropped, so let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So the Capcom Spotlight, which I was going to say for next week's episode, but because the demo is already out and we're recording a little bit later, so I've had a chance to play it. I don't know, have you had a chance to play it yet, Sarah?
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
have? Cool. So we may as well talk about, we can't contain our excitement for RE4 Remake demo, so let's just add that as the end of this show. And my God, have they done it? I was really looking forward to this. I'm a big fan of RE4. It is a seminal entry in the Resident Evil series. And I thought, well, surely it's just going to be the same game, but it's just going to look amazing. And that's totally fine. I think that's what everybody just wants. Like you don't want to radically change what made the original so genre defining and great. But if it can look like an RE2 remake type of project, then that's got everybody already up at fever pitch. And the demo dropped. And what I also love about the demo is that Capcom this time have not put a time limit on it, and you can play it as many times as you like. Whereas the first one, I think you could only play it once, and that was it. Which was really quite smart marketing, to be honest, because everybody downloaded it and played it and streamed it, and they got all of this like free marketing from influencers and socials and all that kind of stuff. Whereas now it's just like, yeah, here's the demo, it's coming in like a month or so or a couple months, and just enjoy it, because this is a celebration of such a seminal game. And I was really impressed with just the presentation across the board, and I want to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, it looks amazing. Like I really enjoyed playing it, and I one of the things I noted, and it's such an amazing thing that the franchise actually builds when you're playing is that kind of sense of being on edge, the idea that no matter what you're doing, something could happen at any moment, and your two sort of like options for moving about the space is a kind of like a very careful walk, right, or a run. Both of these don't feel comfortable, because if you're doing a run, you're like, oh, this is really reckless, anything could happen, and I could just run into one of these horrible villages. Or the other thing is, if you're doing the kind of slow, careful walk, it doesn't feel quite quick enough, and so you feel like, oh, I should probably run. Oh, but do I feel like I could risk it? But it builds tension so well. And I think what I really loved about the demo was like there was plenty of resources, so you didn't feel like you were being sort of like, you weren't forced into a difficulty, which was good. It's meant to be open for everybody who wants to play it, so that was really good. I felt like I had plenty of bullets for my little handgun, and it was such an iconic moment that they've chosen to do as well, which is it's perfect. It's so good. And then I noticed at the end it gives you a runtime, like how quickly you went through it. So I guess the
Yeah,
idea of being able to replay it is that if you want to go back and replay the demo, it's like how quickly can you get through it?
yeah.
How much gold pesetas can you pick up and stuff like that? And I was like, this is very clever. This is going to keep people going for a little bit, just enough time, I reckon, before the actual game drops.
Yeah.
It's going to be so good and so
What do you think of
creepy.
the haptics on the PlayStation controller? Because I thought they're pretty cool.
They were really cool, and I also really enjoyed the radio coming through the controller as well on PS5. That was
Yeah.
super cool.
Always
I mean,
scares the shit out of me that whenever that happens, it's just like a blast of audio from you, from your hands. Dear Lord.
why no? It's very, very good. I mean, I think haptics with the PS5 are incredible. Like they just feel they really immerse you in the game. Like, and the thing with these games is that that's what it's all about. You want to
Yeah.
feel like you're Leon. You're the one who's walking in the world, and you're the one who's going to get attacked if you don't, fire off a few rounds or stab him in the neck with your little
Yeah.
knife.
I was impressed also with the options that they've got for if you are sensitive to motion sickness, if you have an auditory maybe disability or a visual impairment or things like that or limitation, then there's some presets that you can go through that will dampen or boost accordingly for whatever the situation requires. And
Mm.
I messed around with the motion sickness one because you it didn't look like from the demo anyway that you could just like manually turn off chromatic aberration or motion blur, things like that they weren't independently selectable within the options menu, but there's a
Mhm.
preset that would just kind of kill all of that stuff. And so I was playing on performance mode and I also dabbled a little bit in the resolution mode. I can't tell if there's a frame rate difference in resolution mode or performance mode, but I did notice that when I jumped over to resolution mode, the in performance mode, it felt like the image was a little soft, but
Mm.
still stunning. But resolution mode just felt a little bit sharper, but still
Mm.
a little bit kind of softiness to it, and that's because of the chromatic aberration and the motion blur. But I turned off, or I should say, I activated the motion sickness preset, and it killed chromatic aberration and it killed motion blur, and all of a sudden the image was so crisp and clean. I'm thinking, oh, I'm gonna have to play with this activated because Leon's hair was already gorgeously shiny, but now you can actually make out the strands of detail and as the strands of hair in
Whoa.
detail because it's just sharper. It's just a bit crisper across the board. Like everything is. But because of that, it also, unfortunately, for better or worse, it will turn off the depth of field, which
Ah.
loses a little bit of that cinematography style of it. Like at the very beginning, when Leon opens the door, the background of the room that you can see the fireplace and the table is has this soft focus, which looks gorgeous as a filmic technique. But obviously,
Mm.
that's in like clear focus. So you lose a
Mm.
little bit of that cinematic feel to it. Maybe that's okay for you. I didn't actually mind it, but when I first played it, I had all of that stuff activated, and I was thinking, man, this is so cinematic. It's so pretty. And then when I turned the motion sickness preset on, you lose that, but at the same time,
Mm.
it's still a stunning video game. So maybe it's worth it, depending on your proclivities and whether or not you're okay with that. So or if you want the full cinematic experience, you just go for the default presets and things like that. But I like that the developers are catering to different experiences which are going to be beneficial to any player. I would like the ability, I mean, this might just be because it's the demo, it's not the full game. I would like a bit of granularity to really dial in and tailor those settings. I hope they do. I didn't notice anything about button mashing or quick time events. Is there a way to just like I don't want to mash the button. I'm past that. My old arthritic hands and my 40-year-old frame is done with button mashing and quick time events. I just want to press and hold, or just give me the ability to skip right over it and not even have to worry about that. Just like an autocomplete, like what Spider-Man does. And I love Insomniac Spider-Man for those settings. So I hope the final game has a bit more of customization and just make it like just even a single button press would be fine, but don't force players to do like gestures or rapid button presses or tight reactive stuff, which is essentially just like a quick time event. If they do have that in the final game, that's great. If it's just an exact copy of what's in the demo, that's a missed opportunity to really cater and really give a lot more options to players. But in terms of the presentation and everything like that, oh my god, they're absolutely smashing it. And I didn't even get through the demo when I only played it the one time. I got to the chainsaw guy. He was chasing me all over the fucking courtyard, or not the courtyard, but that little village bit where the pyre is, where that poor cop is burning in the church. He was chasing me. I had so many villagers rampaging after me, and I had him chasing me as well. I eventually got caught and I died, and that was like 24 minutes of just like me going like running around getting chased by this chainsaw guy. So I booted it back up, and I don't know if you got this or not. Maybe you're too good a gamer, you probably didn't die, but I died first time. When you boot the game back up, because you died, you have the option to activate an extreme difficulty mode, which is like extreme chainsaw difficulty mode. It popped up as soon as I launched it again. It was this massive like red screen, like red frame with blood and stuff over it, and it's like extreme chainsaw difficulty. Do you want to take on this challenge? I'm like, no, I died. I don't want an extreme mode. I just died on the normal default mode.
Why are you making it harder?
Exactly. So it's like a secret extra extreme difficulty challenge that because I died and relaunched the game, it popped up to say, hey, you want to try this mode? Because clearly you're just like baby mode is too difficult for you, but have Kratos mode instead and see what that's like.
I did not know that was in that. And I think you'll find if you go back to it at some point, you were very, 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 very close to the end of the demo, because the demo is just the village scenario, the sort of bombardment of villages, and then they all end up going back into the church. Eventually, it's just a kind of time-based thing, I believe. So you just got to keep running.
I couldn't remember. It's been so long since I've played RE4. I couldn't remember. Like, do I have to kill the chainsaw guy? Do I have to get an item out of one of the shacks and get to somewhere? I couldn't remember what I actually had to do.
It's just, I think as long as you go into, maybe it's a number of buildings you go into, but it felt like it was just time-based. I think the chainsaw guy was still alive when I can't remember. I don't think we killed him, because Connor and I both played it. And then, what happens is eventually the bell chimes in the clock tower of the church, and then they all kind of go, and then walk into the church, and it's terrifying.
Like summoned back to the church. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow,
the cinematics as well near the end, when you're sort of getting full close-up visual of the characters' faces, are so detailed and so creepy and so beautiful, but haunting. It's going to be very cool.
When the chainsaw guy appears, you can see his eyeballs, for Christ's sake, and it's so gross. It's so gross.
Yeah.
They put googly eyes on him, for God's sake. But oh my god, it looks fantastic though, and I'm really looking forward to the full game coming out. I'm guessing it's soon, right? It's I don't know. I don't actually have the exact launch date.
Yeah, I feel like it must be
soon.
Maybe is it next month, or maybe not that soon. Maybe I'm getting too excited.
Let me just Google it.
Yeah, I want to know.
4 remake. It says initial. March 24th. It says.
It's this month.
Wow, it's this month. Okay, I thought it was like April or at least April, maybe.
Yeah, I thought it was April, but
okay.
That's
it's this
very
month.
Exciting.
Well, that's going to be a little payday purchase for me, I think. Damn. And I think I'm going to have to go for the PlayStation 5 version because of those haptics. Like when Leon was just walking, you would get the little like pulse from his footsteps in the controller. I thought that kind of stuff. Yes, you don't need it, but see when you get it, it's just like that little extra flourish of presentation, which I really like.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah, I know, and it'll feel like a brand new game because it has been so long since I played the first game, like a really long, I'm talking maybe like a decade or something it's been since I last played it.
Yeah.
My favorite iteration of this was actually the Wii version, because the pointer controls were so good, and
Yeah.
it was just perfect like implementation. So I don't know if this would ever did this. I'm trying. It did come like the remaster came to Switch, like the HD version, I should say, came to like Switch, didn't it? But I don't think it had the pointer controls. And I remember at the time I was so disappointed because
Mm.
the pointer controls were so good. I was like, well, this is the only way to play RE4, but with pointer controls, because you could literally shoot the axes out of the sky as they were throwing them towards you, because you just do the pointer control, and
Yes.
it was so good. But anyway, I digress. This is going to be amazing as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be so good. Yeah. I'm trying to remember when did the first one come out? It must be 20 years ago now, right?
Oh yeah,
Is this
for
the
the
20-year
GameCube.
anniversary or?
You know, I don't know. What's this? I'm on Wikipedia already. So Resident Evil 4, 2005 it was. So we got a couple of years before the 20th
Okay.
anniversary. So I mean, it does actually raise the question. I wonder what they're going to be doing for the 20th anniversary, since they nobody would stand for this getting delayed for 2 years just to tie up with that. So I wonder what they're going to do. Maybe they'll have something in mind, like a celebration or something. I would imagine.
Yeah, that'd be super cool.
But anyway, gosh, Resident Evil 4, not long, Sarah.
I
Really,
know.
really not long.
I didn't realize it. A matter of weeks.
Gosh. Anyway, is that our show? We made it just over an hour. I was a little bit concerned. I thought, man, we're almost going to be done in like 30 minutes, because we're wrapping up, like we're rattling through some stuff really quite quickly. But then we had some really awesome, fun topics to really geek out over and embellish and tangent on, and that's what it's all about. So,
absolutely,
ladies, gentlemen, friends, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been episode 98 of the Weekend Casual Club podcast. Thank you so much for your support, and we will be back next week for episode 99, the penultimate episode ahead of our 100th episode. I'm working on something for that. We've got a couple of guests lined up that are hopefully going to be able to join us for that. So it's going to be a really fun 100th episode show in a couple of weeks' time. But for now, take care. Have a great rest of your gaming week, and we will see you in a few days for another episode. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.